Jill, what are Trump's chances of getting the D.C. gag order permanently lifted?
None is a simple answer. It will be reinstated because he is a criminal defendant. He isn't anything else in that courtroom but a criminal defendant. And criminal defendants cannot taint the jury pool, threaten witnesses, threaten court personnel. They simply cannot be allowed to. And unfortunately, judges are very limited because no one wants to create a horrendous uprising of his supporters by putting him in jail for this. Everyone wants to wait until a jury of his peers convicts him and he goes to jail for the crime, not for that. But the penalty is going to have to go from $5,000 to $50,000 to $500,000. And I don't know what the amount is that would make him stop doing what he does. It was inevitable he would violate the gag order. It is inevitable that he will violate it again. And we know from the E. Jean Carroll case that even millions of dollars in a fine doesn't stop him. He re-defamed her right after he got fined. And this next verdict for him in that case is going to be an even higher fine. So at some point, maybe money will work, but at some point, it's going to have to be moving the trial date up or jailing him.
Speaking of money, in a fundraising email today, Trump repeated one of his most often used lies, saying the federal gag order is about silencing his supporters, not about silencing him. Debunk that for me. Why doesn't that make any legal sense?
It doesn't make any sense just at any level. It's not just as a lawyer, but as a citizen. Think about it. It isn't silencing anything except illegal behavior. And if we could focus on exactly what is being silenced, it is threats to a jury, threats to witnesses, threats to court personnel. And so it's just, if I was representing any ordinary client, not named Trump, that person would have been held in contempt and jailed a long time ago. But I have to admit that as you talk to people who are judges, no one wants to take on putting him in jail for contempt, even though they know they would for anyone not named Trump. So he's going to probably, unfortunately, get away with more than anyone in this country who's thinking about justice, who's thinking about facts, than they would like. But it's going to have to be increasing penalties until nothing else will work, and that they have to go further than that.
Jill, let me ask you, in Trump's New York trial, Michael Cohen expected to testify this week. How useful is Cohen likely to be as a witness?
People have said, oh, who's going to believe Michael Cohen? Well, I believe Michael Cohen. I think he has facts that have been confirmed and corroborated over and over again by the documents. And so he can tell a narrative. He can put it to a jury in a way that they can hear a story which they will believe and understand. And then the documents confirm everything that he's saying. And so I think he will be a very persuasive witness. I think it's interesting that Donald Trump is returning to the New York courtroom to confront Michael Cohen, who I do not believe will be frightened at all by him. He's taken his stand. He's come forward. He's the one who alerted everybody to the fact that he was escalating the value of things for purposes of insurance and de-escalating them for tax purposes. That proved to be true. And so I think he'll be a very credible witness, and that he will hurt Donald Trump a great deal.